Peace everyone, Unmask Art here, and welcome to day 30 of Inktober. Oh my goodness, so close to being done. Couldn't be any closer for me right now. I've got a little bit of a fever, but I'm gonna push through. I'm not gonna do any coloring today, unfortunately, for that reason. But I got my lemon tea here, so I'm just gonna. As you can see, I have this sketched out already. I'm just going to ink it, and I think what I'll do is I'll leave you guys with the line art of this. So if you want to color it after I'm finished, I'll have the line art over on Facebook, so you can just take it off Facebook and download it and color it in. I'd love to see your guys' color iterations of this piece. I was really excited for today's piece. Again, I have to thank Wendi for kind of coming up with this, helping me come up with this idea here. But I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm not really planning on today's stream being super long, but I just wanna relax and hang out with you guys. So feel free to ask me questions and whatnot. Like I said, I'm a little under the weather today. Which kind of stinks because there's only 2 days, including today, left of Inktober. So I'm hoping later this evening I can burn out this fever, and tomorrow will be a much better Inktober day, since it is or will be the last day of Inktober. It's hard to believe I made it all the way through the month, and this might be one of my favorite drawings that I'll do for Inktober. I'm really liking this piece already. When I was drawing it in Photoshop this morning, I was like, oh, you know what? I wish that I had more time. I knew that I had to stream a little bit earlier today, just because I have Polish class this evening, and I kind of wanted to add a whole bunch more to it. This actually isn't even the original idea that I was thinking of doing yesterday. So my original idea did involve a treasure chest, but instead of this pirate here, I was just gonna have the treasure chest open with a bunch of like gold coins and jewelry and the typical treasure stuff, on top of like a mound of gold, and then I was gonna have Nugget like about the same size as the treasure chest, but as you can see, I totally reinvented my idea, but I really like it, and I'm thinking that this is gonna come out nice in the end, regardless of the significant changes to my original plan. I didn't draw this out perfectly, so I'm going to do a lot of corrections actually with my ink. Hello, CC, Vicky, Wendi, Noeticus, Gihan, Brenda, Priceline, Riss, Effigie. Hello everyone. It's so nice to have you here. Oh, thank you, Vicky. Yes, yeah, I'm not feeling the best, but I made a commitment. I'm going to hold true to it. I've got my tasty lemon tea here, so I'm all good. I got what I needed. I got you guys. I got my tea. I got a pen and some paper. So all is good. Don't you worry about me. I am here to draw for everybody and answer questions once you ask questions. It's just been taking a bit of a toll on me, working as much as I work every day for this Inktober stuff. So I'm gonna have a well-deserved break after tomorrow. Kind of, because I am gonna do 2 streams. I decided I'm only going to do 2 streams over on Patreon for the remainder of this week. I'll do Thursday and Friday. I'm going to take Wednesday off, though, just in case I didn't completely burn through this fever after tomorrow. But I should be 100% tomorrow, if not at least 90%, because I usually this is something that happens almost like clockwork for me. When I overwork myself, I get a fever, I sweat it out in the night, and then I'm good the next day. And of course, it comes right back if I go right back to work, but I just have one more day of Inktober, so I think I can push through. I'll be okay. Just push through it, and all will be good. The weather has been weird today. It can't decide whether or not it wants to let the sun shine or be cloudy and gross. Oh, hello, Erica and Sana. On the last day of Inktober, while I tore through all the drawings in the video, I might flip through them, but really, I'm going to put together a video afterwards to do that. Oh, hello, Anna. Maybe this time you can finally hang out for the whole stream. Yeah, that'd be nice. I'm feeling having withdrawal symptoms, not being able to be here. We're all having withdrawal symptoms from seeing your amazing Inktober pieces. I hope that you find some time to get inked up a little bit, because I've been missing your Inktober pieces for way too long. Your work this month was just so amazing, and well, I kind of have to thank you for not making the rest of us look bad for the entire month of October, but I do miss seeing your work, and I hope you get back to it soon. Seem like you've been pretty busy. But I might flip through the pages for tomorrow to go through, but I mean, it doesn't make much sense because I'll still have one drawing left to do. But I'm going to put together kind of a tribute video, I guess you could say, for Inktober. I'll try to get that done in a reasonable amount of time, since Inktober will be over. I want to get it up kind of as quick as possible, because on YouTube it's almost more important to be first than to be popular. So if I can get a sketchbook tour video of Inktober 2017, I think that I'll be able to snag a few extra subscribers for the trouble I've gone through this month. But this has been a good month for subscribers, new subscribers. I got a lot more of you in the chats, which is fantastic. I've been having a really good time this month getting to know all the new people in the live streams, and I hope that you stick around for my future live streams as well, because even though I won't be live streaming every day, I'll still be doing the occasional live stream. I wanted to ask if you got my email. Yes, Sana, I did get your email. Thank you. Your Inktober collage is very cool and very detailed. It's such a great idea. I can't wait to share it tomorrow. Speaking of sharing, make sure you guys, so tomorrow will be the last day for you to send me artwork for me to share on the live stream. So don't procrastinate on that, because I won't be waiting for the last minute to get your artwork prepared for the live stream or anything. So the link is in the description. You can send me your pieces via Facebook. If you don't have Facebook, just like Sana, you can feel free to email me your Inktober piece. Don't go crazy and send me like 10,000 pictures if you haven't shared any at all, because I'm not going to share all of everyone's piece. Probably maximum, I would say, is like 3 if I haven't shared any of your work. I'll just pick like 3 of my favorites or something. But yeah, don't forget to send them to me, since tomorrow is the last day. But you know, doing the sharing stuff, you know, where I go through some of your guys' work and you know, showing everybody and just encouraging you guys to continue to draw. And a lot of your work has not only inspired me, but inspired other people as well. So even when I finish Inktober, I think when I start up the drawing journal again, I'm going to keep asking you guys to send me artwork, because I think it's fun to share everybody's work. So, you know, even after Inktober, I expect you to keep drawing, and I expect you to keep creating. So I will continue to share your guys' creations for as long as you take the time to send them to me. And yeah, I've enjoyed the past month of waking up and seeing all your guys' wonderful artwork. So I'm gonna keep sharing it for as long as you keep sending them to me, because I think it's a good idea. Sorry, I'm probably a little bit behind on the chat here. Am I all right? Yes, I'm okay. Just a little bit of a fever. It's no big deal. Yes, I do need to rest for sure. Let's see. You should create a photo album in our family for Inktober 2017 so we can post our final pieces. Well, actually, I think anybody can create a photo album. So, Wendi, if you want to go ahead and create a photo album in the Facebook family, then I totally approve of that for sure. If you can't, then I will set it up. Did I start a Facebook group? Yes, I did start a Facebook group. It's called the Unmask Family, and the link to join is in the chat. Oh, hello, Chrissy. Good to see you here. Yeah, today's stream is a little bit early, so you should, it's not too late there in Australia. Today is your catch-up day. Yeah, I saw that you were finishing commission. Hope you're having a rad morning. It could be a little bit better, Lady Shadow. Yeah, I'm not too healthy at the moment, but I'm doing okay. Can you use the Faber-Castell Classic Color pencils for skin tones? I can't say whether you can or cannot. I imagine that you can, but I've never used them, so I can't give you an opinion on them. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep sharing the work outside of Inktober. Well, I changed the name from the Drawing Journal to Family Gathering or something like that. I think only slightly. I think I'm going to keep it the Drawing Journal, just so that I can keep the word drawing in the title, and that makes it a little bit more relative to YouTube's search algorithm for the, you know, what I'll be doing in the videos. But I suppose unofficially we can call it like the family gathering or the family meeting or something like that. Maybe if I had like, I don't know, maybe I'll try to come up with something. I'll try to come up with something to add the family meeting or family gathering into the title. I just sent you the only thing I did for Inktober. It is special for you. Oh, well, thank you so much, Jennifer. I cannot wait to see it. Oh, thank you, Lady Shadow. I appreciate that. All right, let me. I gotta keep drawing here. I gotta keep drawing. Sometimes if it's like one of two extremes. Either I'm drawing and I'm super focused and I totally forget to look up and see what you guys are asking me in the chats, or I get lost in the conversation and I'm only looking at the chat and I don't draw anything for like 15 minutes. But you gotta keep me on schedule, everyone. I'll never finish the drawing. But I want to get the inking really nice. I'm gonna put a lot of effort in making sure that the inking of this is quality, and then of course, like I said, I'll let you guys take over the line art. I'll share a nice clean image of the line art once I'm done, and you can take that and color it, do whatever, add to it. I'd love to see what you guys can do to this piece here, especially in terms of color. Maybe, well, no, maybe one day I'll redraw it larger, add some more detail to it, because I had this project in mind earlier this year of doing a coloring book that is all done in this kind of anime manga type style. And I think I have about 8 pages of quite detailed artwork that I have planned out. I have, I think, 2 or 3 pages done, and I still have a lot more to do for the entirety of the project, but it was always kind of my plan to release somewhat of a advanced coloring book in this anime style, because I've never seen a good one, and I just like to color. It was going to be a whole Kickstarter project and everything, but I scratched that and decided to just draw it, and if I finish it, then great. If I don't, then whatever. It's still fun to do, and I've worked on it a few times and mentioned it a few times, but I haven't talked about it a lot. But I like this theme here, and it just came together so well in Photoshop. I don't even know how I did it. This was just one of those drawings that just happens to come together so perfectly. You actually joined the Unmask family today, and it already feels like home. Yes, I saw that you joined. I'm glad that you are enjoying the Facebook group. You do not see the link for the Facebook page. Oh, you know what? I might have accidentally changed the description for today's live stream. I will have to do that. I'll have to make sure that I add that link back into the description. I was trying to make sure I had it in every live stream description. I may have accidentally copied the wrong description over to this video. But you should be able to find it on Facebook as the Unmask family if you search it. I'm pretty sure it's searchable. All right, there we go. We got a little bit of our treasure chest coming through now. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? Hope you feel better. Thank you so much, Brenda. The album is made for Inktober. Awesome, awesome. So everybody that is in the Unmasked family, be sure to upload your finished Inktober pieces to that album there on the Facebook family group, and then perhaps I'll do maybe I'll do a video. I don't know. I don't know if I'll do a video trying to do a collective work of everybody, but perhaps. One thing I do plan on doing, if you haven't come across the photo album for the Unmask family gallery photo album in the group, that's where I'd like you to add maybe one of your most proud pieces that you've completed in the year of in this year, and then at the end of the year I will make a video kind of going through everybody's most proud work, including a piece of my own. And so if you want to add one of your best pieces that you've created, just any medium throughout the year, you can add it there, and then I will for sure make a video of that in the future. Kind of closing out the year, I guess you could say. It is 48 here in Florida. I should be drinking tea as well. 48 Fahrenheit. I was like 48. I'm so used to Celsius. I can't. I almost can't remember what 48 degrees Fahrenheit feels like. But it's probably about the same temperature here. 48 sounds pretty cold for Florida. I want to finish this treasure chest first before moving on. So I'm going to do more of the detailed inking and kind of fine lining, making sure everything looks the way I want it to. Nice thick weighted lines to make this chest jump off the page a little bit better. So I'm just going to stick with this part of the drawing for another few minutes before I work on my pirate here. Grab a thicker pen, just do a little bit of outlining. Speaking of the Facebook group, I finally shared something that I'm working on. Don't be embarrassed, Riss. I'd really like to hear your opinions, all of you. Yes, that's what it's all about. That's what I want the group to be all about. So I guess for those of you that are in the group or thinking about joining the group, be sure to read the rules thoroughly. I want the group to be friendly always, and I want it to be a place where you can feel comfortable sharing your work and asking questions and learning. That's the focus of the group. That's what I want the focus of the group to be, is learning. I don't want what I don't want the group to become is just a place, another Facebook group where people share their drawings for the sake of getting likes and trying to promote themselves. I don't want it to be a promotion thing. I don't even promote myself in the group, in the sense that I don't share my finished drawings there. I want to keep it more learning based. So keep that in mind when you're making your posts. Always try to make a post with a question. If you're working on something and you just want opinions, that's cool. But anytime you finish a piece and you just want to share like the finished outcome, go back to your original post where you were doing a work in progress, put that in the comments, post your final image in the comments. That way people that were following the thread can go back and find it. It just makes it a little bit neater in the group. But I just want to reiterate that I want it to be more about learning rather than just sharing for the sake of likes. Uh, 8 Celsius? Goodness gracious, that is cold. Have I considered doing an end of the year montage of your pieces you have done during this year? Since you already have video footage, should be easy to do. Most likely I won't. I don't know. Maybe. It's a big maybe. I've literally done 30 drawings in the past month, and I can't even think about how much I've drawn this year. This is by far, 2017 has by far been the most extremely productive year of my entire life. I've really done so much this year that I don't know if I could even adequately combine all that into a montage of a video, because it would be so much footage, it would be so much artwork, just oh my gosh. I've gotten to the point where when I take pictures of my artwork, I just delete it right away. So I take the picture, I put it on my computer, I correct the lighting in Photoshop or whatever, upload it to Facebook, Instagram, and then I just delete it. So a lot of the artwork that I've done this year, I'd actually have to dig back out just to take pictures of them again, unless I downloaded the picture that I used on Facebook or something, which I don't necessarily like to do, since Facebook compresses the images and makes them not look as nice after downloading them. But yeah, that would be a lot of work. I don't know if I'm gonna go that crazy. I think maybe I'll just do a video on I'll try to figure out what I got planned for 2018. I've got a lot to do. I've got a lot to do for 2018. That is for sure. I'm just about halfway to my next goal on Patreon. I need to by this time next year, I need to be making 1,000 each month on Patreon. Otherwise I'm going to move back to America. And if I move back to America, I'm going to go back to school. If I go back to school, then I'm going to start teaching. Is it snowing? I can't tell if it's snow or rain. It just started raining out of nowhere. Or snowing. It looks like it's bouncing and not wet. It looks almost like snow. I think it is snowing. Or partially snowing. Anyways, I'm totally off topic. I just love snow, so... let's see. I'll probably rely heavily on you guys as I start illustrating this children's book for critiques and ideas. Yep. Well, I think it'll be a good place to do it. I've illustrated one children's book, so happy to help as much as I can with my experience in doing that. There, I think that's good for the chest. I'm just gonna go ahead and start working on this pirate now, and I'm gonna start up here with the hat. Yeah, I'm gonna start with the hat. Gotta finish my tea before it gets cold though. Hello, Renata. Never seen snow in real life? Oh, you're missing out. You're missing out. If you've never seen snow. Winter is my... I love winter for snow, but I hate the unnecessarily cold weather. So if it's just cold and rainy and wet, a lot like Seattle, then I despise the winter. But if it's cold and snowy and just tons and tons of snow, then I love it. There's that big stipulation. I've never experienced too much snow in my life. And there was one year in Ohio that there was so much snow that they told everybody not to leave. They told everybody not to leave their house unless it was an emergency. That was like one of the best. That was the right amount of snow for sure. Enough snow to stop the world from happening. That's a good amount of snow right there. Let's see. Does it snow much in Poland? Not really, which is really kind of surprising because we're quite a bit farther north from the equator than Ohio. But I think what happens, now this is totally 100% a guess, because we live, right below the sea. And from my experience, like Ohio, we're right below the lake in Ohio, and it just sucks up all the water and then dumps all the snow right there. But I think the reason we don't get a whole lot of snow is because it's so flat, and so the clouds just go somewhere else. The clouds holding all the snow, they just pass Poland, and wherever they hit the biggest mountain is where those clouds kind of stop, and then that's where they dump the snow. Because I'm actually a little bit disappointed on how little snow I've seen in Poland. Don't worry, once I saved up enough, I might start traveling to places. Been my dream since a kid to see the world. Yeah, traveling is the best for sure. I look forward to getting to a point in my life where I can travel a little bit more freely. Um, I I had mentioned briefly that Anna and I are going to be going to Prague next month. I look forward to that trip. I've never been to Prague. Anna's never been to Prague, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure about that. So that will be a fun adventure. Prague is kind of a famous place. I always hear it in movies and stuff. So I'm curious to see just how pretty it is, I guess. I've never really seen pictures of it. But we're going there for a concert. So even if it's not as pretty as or as amazing as movies make it out to sound, we're going to go there. We're going to see Intervals, Polyphia, and Nick Johnson. So you almost can't go wrong with that. It is so nice when everything is covered with snow. Trees look so beautiful. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. My favorite experience is to go out after it's like around midnight or something, and have like 30 plus centimeters of snow on the ground. Everything is just blanketed. No grass, no green, nothing. And just go for a walk like at midnight. It is the most peaceful feeling in the world. I love that feeling more than anything, because the snow actually acts like a dampener. So it absorbs sound waves. That's why everything seems so much quieter when there's snow on the ground, because the snow absorbs the sound waves, and so everything's quieter. Or it seems that everything is quieter, and I love it at night, where it's already quiet at night usually, but when there's a blanket of snow covering everything, it's just, gosh, it's so peaceful. It's my favorite thing in the world. I love that feeling of being outside, and I even like the sensation of cold. In those times where it's cold out and you're even a little bit cold, it's in the middle of the night, and everything is just absolutely hidden by snow. I love that experience. I think everybody should try to seek out that particular experience at least once. So try to find a place that blankets itself in snow and just go out at midnight. Go for a walk. Prague is on my bucket list, or your bucket list. Everyone that I know who has been there says it's gorgeous. Well, I look forward to going, and I'm going to definitely be taking a bunch of video and probably a few pictures. I was just going to say that it is so nice and peaceful when there is snow everywhere. Yeah, for sure. Wow, I would love that quiet mood. I rarely get that here. My place is just full of noise. Yeah, I definitely know. Dubai is not a quiet place by any means. I mean, the whole country is constantly under construction, so I can't imagine that there's anything that even resembles peace and quiet there. Of course, the last time I was in Dubai, it felt like the whole country was under construction. It's just everywhere you go, skyscrapers are being built. Giant buildings, just like in the middle of a desert. It just seems so off to me sometimes. But Dubai is a beautiful place in its own right, for sure. I've been, I don't know if I've really ever talked about the other places that I've been. I've been to Dubai, and I've been to Thailand and Singapore. I'm trying to think of any place else. I've been to Jamaica. I've been to the UK. Poland, obviously. A little bit of Germany, tiny bit, just Frankfurt area, the city. What else? I'm trying to think of. I mean, I've been around California a bit, L.A., San Diego, Hawaii, Washington, of course, British Columbia, Canada, and then of course Ohio. Trying to think if there's any other cool places that I've been. I don't really think there has been, but those are the few places that I've visited. One of my favorite countries was definitely Singapore. If you ever find yourself wanting to just go someplace randomly, I can recommend Singapore. It's a nice country. The best thing about Singapore is that the public transportation is just amazing. you can literally get anywhere on the island by these kind of like trams, these train thingies, and it's just fantastic. It takes like no time at all. It's like dirt cheap. It's ridiculously cheap to go anywhere in Singapore. So yeah, and it's insanely clean. So in Singapore, you're not allowed to even chew gum in public. And they still do like public caning. If you like steal something, they'll like tie you down and beat you with a cane in front of everybody. So it's like extremely safe and extremely clean. You don't ever, you get like you'll get beat down if you spit. You're not allowed to spit either on like the streets and things. But you can imagine that if you were to litter there, you would get tied up and beat down as well. So they're very strict, but it pays off a little bit because it's like one of the cleanest places I'd ever been to in my life. I'd literally feel comfortable eating food off the street because everything is just so clean there. I'm exaggerating a bit, but it is really clean. You never ever. I spent like 4 days in Singapore, and I never once saw a piece of litter or a piece of gum, a cigarette butt, anything. Nothing. I saw nothing there. And they have like these beautiful Buddhist temples like all over the place, super colorful. Very, very cool. Oh, you're in the Philippines. I was thinking somebody else in Dubai. I have 2 questions, by the way. One, is your signature a stamp or something else? My signature is a stamp. Yeah, here, I'll show it to you really quick. I haven't had anybody ask that before. So here's my stamp. I got 3 of them actually, custom made. See, this is my medium one, this is my big one, and then I have I have a smaller one. I have a smaller one that's like maybe about like that big or something. Like that big, and that's how I sign my work, because my signature is disgusting, and I always hated signing my work. I never signed my work for the longest time because it always looked really tacky and bad, and a lot of signatures I don't like. I think they look bad, and so I never signed my work. So I came up with the idea of doing a stamp, because you probably tell from this drawing here that the Japanese style of like anime and manga, it played a huge factor in influencing me getting into drawing real seriously and practicing like daily. And I've always been really drawn to the style. It's always really appealed to me ever since I was, I don't know, maybe 14, 15, that age frame. And I've just always been drawn to it, and that's the style that I don't even think about it. This is just the style that I draw in now because of that. So to kind of give credit to the culture, I stamp my work with I actually forget what it's called. A Goyen stamp, I think is what it's called. I might be mistaking that, but the stamps they use to sign their name in Japan, I modified it, of course, because artists in Japan stamp their work, and they create their own custom stamps, and they don't have to be circles. Sometimes they're rounded squares like mine is, and that's what I went with. I liked that. I spent considerable amount of time going through a few designs and finally settling on that one. And so that's how I sign my work officially. Oh no, I forgot to scroll down on the chat. Did I miss any other questions? I have a question. Is it okay to post drawings on the Facebook page? I'd love our ink drawings have watercolors on them. I usually combine the two mediums together. It's okay to post drawings on the Facebook page, yeah, but just so that I make the rules clear. I wrote the rules in the description of the Facebook group. I don't want to discourage anybody from sharing their work. I just want it to be with more purpose than being like, oh, here, this is the thing I drew. I would prefer people to have put some thought into the description of their post. So if they drew something, painted something, whatever, created something, they ask for direction, or they ask for input on composition, or if you're going to post like a finished product, maybe seek improvement at the same time. That way we can kind of avoid turning into one of those Facebook groups of people just kind of blanket posting for the sake of promotion, even if it's like, oh, I drew this on this, and then that's it. Like they share a picture and they're like, oh, I just finished this today. Okay, but what about it? Like, what do you feel about it? How do you think you can improve? You expand on your posts, because that's what I want it to be about. I don't want it to be about shamelessly plugging yourself. So just keep that in mind when you post in the group, because I want to see your guys' work, but I also want you to grow as well. I want the group to be beneficial to those that join it. So, and who knows, your work may inspire somebody or spark a really beneficial conversation of some kind. Sorry, I know I need to catch up on the chat, but I also want to draw this. Let's see. I'm just gonna skip ahead. If I missed any of your questions, just ask them again, and make sure you tag me, because it's kind of tough to see them otherwise. Okay, yeah, you like my stamp idea? Yeah, I don't know of anybody really else that uses a stamp. I know I've heard of a few other people doing it, and like I said, Japanese artists tend to do that. Let's see. Just realized that my autocorrect took over my question. Sorry, it was confusing. I'm new and definitely need critique. Hello, Christine and White Clover Fine Arts. Welcome. I really can't imagine streamers with 100 viewers on live stream. How can they keep up with the chats? Yeah, I can imagine that if my channel grows any larger, it will become even more difficult for me to draw and keep up with the chats. And partially, I don't look forward to that moment. One of the things that I've said a few times during my streams is that, you know, I want my channel to grow because it's kind of required for me to make a living and be successful. But at the same time, I don't really look forward to becoming one of those larger channels where when I have a live stream, there's so much chat going on that I can't respond to everybody. Because right now it's pretty relaxed. I mean, yeah, I miss a few things that you guys are talking about, but you know, I can look up and only have missed like, you know, 10 or 12 messages, and most of the time you guys are, you know, chatting amongst yourself, and then, you know, I come across something and chime in a bit. I need to have my wife here so she can start reading me the chat, like whispering it in my ear or something like that. I hope that one day I can make enough as an artist that I can just have my wife stay home and create with me. I know that she wants to get back to making jewelry, and I would love for her to get back to making jewelry. And hopefully one day I can make that dream of hers come real. If I can just make enough to where she doesn't have to work anymore, that would be the ideal situation, where we can just both be professional creators. She can sell her jewelry, and I can just teach everyone how to color and draw and make tons of friends on the internet, and we can travel. Then we'll become one of those YouTube couples that you know, has like the family vlog that we don't even have control over. It's just somebody else doing all the edits, and we just have a camera crew that follows us around. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to ever become that big of a channel. Oh, sorry. I was wondering if you use a crafting knife. I know a lot of artists use it when it comes to fur hair. I was thinking of buying one. I have no idea how to use it. Hold on a second. I got a cough. All right. I've tried using the crafting knife thingy method where you scrape, but I don't know. It hasn't worked for me. Maybe I'll try it again in the future, but it's never really worked for me, and I haven't figured out how other people get it to work. Because I know it is a method for creating hair, especially those like flyaway type hairs. But yeah, I haven't got it to work really well. And since the brush and pencil titanium white and touch-up texture stuff has come out, I've just haven't had any reason to do it, because that stuff is just magic, and I use that instead. I just find that method to be much friendlier on my paper, so much more correctable, and it doesn't require, a lot of skill, and it's inexpensive. I mean, you get all the benefits. But I have tried the crafting knife method a few times, but I tend to just get frustrated with its inability to actually work, that I just gave up on it. I'm sure with a bit of patience I could probably figure it out a little bit better. Let's see. You'll have to do something to make residual income like books. Yeah, that's what I'm doing with my courses, actually, my online courses. Um, for an introduction to a colored pencil course, like $10 for a 6-hour course, I think is probably. I don't even know how many messages I got, people saying this course is amazing. You're totally underselling it. That's exactly what I wanted to do with that course, because I'm hoping that well, for one, I hope the course continues to sell, and the video I posted of that course being available is doing really well on YouTube, and I know it's going beyond my subscribers. For this month, I don't even know how many of the course I sold. I sold probably close to 40, maybe even 50 copies of that course. So it's doing really well. It's done really well this month. And I think my goal might be to just continue to put out courses on different subjects. Like I want to do the colored pencil portrait course, and so I intend to do that. Start working on that almost as soon as I can, and then just continue to make courses. And as long as people find my courses good, or they just they think it's a good way to support me, then they'll buy the course. Because I know of quite a few people have bought my Intro to Colored Pencil course, and by no means are they in a position where they need an intro to colored pencils, because their work is already so fantastic. But it's just, it's a way for them to support me and immediately get something as well. So I have other projects that I'm going to plan. I don't know if I'm going to do a book ever. Maybe I'll do a book on spitting on my artwork, since I do it constantly. One of the reasons that I'm not really drawn towards books is because I don't learn from books. I've never been one of those people that can learn things from reading or looking at pictures. I've always been more of a tactile learner, or someone that learns from demonstration. Like I have to see it. I could almost learn just about anything if somebody just showed it to me. But if they wrote down a detailed description of how to do it, I'd be like, I don't know, because there's such a limitation to how graphic words can be, and sometimes even if the instructions are as clear as possible to some person, they're not going to be that clear to another person, just because of the difference as far as their interpretation of the words. And so I don't know if I'd ever dedicate the time or the energy into a book, because I don't know if I could bring myself to creating something that I don't know if I'd learn all that well. And I think I do pretty good with the visual media as far as videos, and I like to do videos. And I think there's probably enough books on drawing and techniques and things like that for that market feels pretty pretty closed, I guess, at this point in time. So I'll let the authors keep writing, and I'll keep making videos. I'll let that be my audience, I guess, is people that learn like I do. Oh goodness. Let me try to catch up. I keep like rambling on. Okay, so let's all the way back to books. I had to scroll back so far. You guys are just chatting up a storm here. I'm doing my best to keep up. I apologize. Curious as to why artists tend to draw women characters more than men. Well, I can tell you why I draw women characters more than men. I first learned to draw people by drawing guys. I drew guys all the time. And in the beginning, when I tried to draw a female, I would find any possible way to not show her face. Sometimes I would draw like a woman in a cloak, and I would black out the face like it was supposed to be dark or something like that. I would avoid drawing the face because I could not draw an attractive face for a female ever. But for guys, it's so easy. Guys are so much more easy to draw because everything is angular and it's rigid. Unless you draw a more feminine type looking guy, you don't have the struggles that you have when you draw women. So I find it so much more of a challenge to draw the female figure or to draw female characters, because if I jacked up her face, she would look gross and unattractive. But if I did that to a guy, nobody really cares. It would just be a rugged looking pirate guy. But you do it to a woman, you just get an ugly drawing. So that's why I personally draw female characters more than male characters. I like to draw female characters because I find them to be always a challenge, whereas the guy characters tend to just, I just do whatever when I do guy characters. But yeah, that's me personally. It could be different. Let's see. I'm trying. Have I ever seen Christopher Hart? No, I haven't. Never heard the name before. Look forward to you doing an advanced colored pencil course. Yes, I do too. I want to get into that a little bit. Oh, you meant like write a story and illustrate it? Yeah, that would be fun. I kind of, now that I've created the Nugget character, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but I got little Nugget right here. I'm just going to draw him in now since I'm zoomed in. But instead of a parrot, she's got a little nugget on her shoulder. I was really loving my manga pages for Nugget, and there he is, being a nugget. I was enjoying so much making the stories with Nugget, that making a children's book story, illustrating it and everything, and then trying to sell it to make money that way would just be super fun to do. Coming up with a good story, though, that's where I might not be so good at, because if I'm going to do a children's book, then I want to do a children's book with a lesson. I don't want it to be a hollow story, and I don't want it to be some cliche story either. I want it to be, a work of art, both visually and literary. So that makes it hard for me to do a children's book, because I would be very picky about the story I create, and it would not come easy. I don't think I'm a very good storyteller. I have a good vocabulary. I'm articulate. I can speak well, and I can think of things pretty well, I guess, if that's a thing. But coming up with a story, I don't know if I'm good at that. I've never really tried before. I mean, you guys literally got the best version of all possible stories that I have ever really thought up of with those manga mini pages that I've done for this Inktober. But those were just 1 pages, and the story was like, there really was no story. You guys know what I did there, but I just don't know if I have it in me to make a story that resonates. I don't know what I would write about. I love the idea, I really do, but I don't know what I'd do, how I'd write it. Oh geez, I'm so far behind on the chat. You are loving the pastel course? Oh, that is so good to hear, Jennifer. I'm glad you've been enjoying that. Guys are lines and squares, girls are circles and curves. Yeah, pretty much. And those curves are hard to get, I tell you what. You found drawing men way harder. Finally learned by studying Mad Magazine drawings. I really struggle with drawing guys. Tell us about the month challenge. The month challenge that I've been kind of considering doing. The Masterpiece March, or March Masterpiece, I think. Let's see. Trying to find where I left off. I want to write kids' stories for children in foster homes. You know, Christine, I was in a foster home for 18 months, from about the age of 2 to 3.5. So was my brother. My brother Ryan was actually raised in the foster home. He was eventually adopted, and yeah. So that I can relate to that. I think that would be, I could kind of create a story a little bit about myself. I like that appeal to the foster care children. I've been enjoying building the world of the enchanted forest around Nugget and Tidbit. I'm delighted with it. Yeah. Most kids' stories are for kids with fairly typical lives or just big imaginations, but not much for kids with some actual hard times. Yeah, reading comic books, the art can be fantastic and beautiful, but the story is still one that holds it together. If the story ain't good, I'll lose interest. Yeah, that's like if I were to write a children's book and illustrate it and stuff, I would have to write a story that I am proud of in order for me to go public with it. I wouldn't want to do it halfway. Never ever like to do anything halfway, so the story would have to be super good. When I was really actually interested in high school. I was actually really interested in writing stories, and I remember I actually wrote when I was in 11th grade. I actually wrote a story called As the War Wages, and I never finished the story. Unfortunately, I only had one copy of it, and it was 100 pages long. I was 100 pages into it, and it was saved on the hard drive that I have here, my really old one that crashed a few years ago, and I lost everything off of it. I lost all the pictures that I ever took, pretty much between the years 2006 to 2012. I lost basically just memories of my life between the ages of 18 and 22. But I also lost that story, and it was a weird story. It was a story about two kids that grew up in a really strict, like, ministry, and they learned kung fu together. They trained together, and as they grew up, their personalities kind of split off a little bit, and one of them runs away as a teenager. And the way that I wrote the story was that it was happening in two parallel time frames. You would get the time frame of them growing up together, and then it would jump back to to a war. It was just a great war with people fighting and bodies laid out, and war. That it was war, and it would jump between these two time frames, and like later on in the story, the two individuals that were growing up as kids on one time frame that I was writing in the story, they see each other on the battlefield, and they realize that they're on the opposing sides. They're fighting against each other. I didn't really know where the story was going. I just kept writing. It was just something that I kept writing. And yeah, like I said, I had about 100 pages of it written out. So it's literally, to this day, it is the most I've ever written in a single Word document. I remember I used to write it in the library. I would go to the library and just start typing. I'd just type mindlessly. And I'd ask my English teacher. I asked my English teacher a few times to read it, kind of give me some ideas or give me some pointers. And he said that he liked it. He liked the way that I did the dialogue, and he liked the split time frame. But that is the closest I ever got to writing a book. I kind of wanted to write books during that time. I was really, really into manga. I was reading manga like every single day, and I always loved the stories in the manga books that I was reading, and I loved the combination of the art and the stories and everything, and it just inspired me to keep writing. But I never, like I said, I never finished the story, and I lost it. It's gone. So, oh goodness, now I have to try to catch back up with the chat. Maybe we could brainstorm about the story in the group. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Let's see. I was a foster kid too. My brother and I are both adopted. Oh, wow. You could tell your life story, but as a nugget. Yeah. When writing or doing my own stories, my number one inspiration would be Miyazaki. Yeah. I like his original stories. They're super fun. Oh, hello, Coffee Cat. Yeah, you're a bit late, but we're still having fun, so don't you worry. It is 100% snowing. Oh my gosh, it's going crazy. I thought it was snowing earlier, but now it is. I can definitely see it's coming down nicely. Oh, that's cool. That just made my day. You should finish that story. I got hooked already. Yeah, yeah. Hello, Dimension. Yeah, that story that I was talking about, I don't know where it was meant to go. Um, I don't know I don't even know what inspired me in the sense of that story. I'm trying to think of anything of where I kind of like where that story originally came from. Like, I don't have that information. I don't know what it was that I was reading that was like, I want to write a story about these two kids that grow up together, training, fighting together, um, and then they end up fighting against each other on the battlefield. Like, I don't know where it came from. I just started writing. Can I explain the rules on the month? Um, the rules for, okay, so I haven't officially made it a thing yet, but so I guess I'm still working on the rules of the next monthly challenge that I uh, will or am considering creating for next year. The masterpiece or the March masterpiece month challenge thingy. I don't even know what to call it yet, or if it's even going to be in March. I'm just just maybe thinking of that. Um, the rule is that you spend a month, you spend at least some time each day working on a masterpiece, and you take the entire month to create the piece of work. You can use any medium that you like. I just realized I'm still zoomed in. Hopefully I haven't been drawing off camera too much. You just do a little bit of work each day, whatever medium you want, and the whole point is to spend the entire month working on it, not finishing it early or anything like that. Spending the entire month. And the way you could break it up is that for the first 10 days, all you do is draw. You just keep drawing, adding more and more detail wherever you can possibly come up with. And then you spend the next 10 days kind of preparing it for color, whether that involves inking it or, doing some underpainting, anything that would prepare it for its final stages of production. In my case, I'd probably do a drawing, and then for the first 10 days, I would just keep drawing in pencil, and then for the next 10 days, I'd spend 10 days inking it. And then for the final 10 days, I'd spend coloring it. But it doesn't have to be broken up in days of 10. The whole idea is to just create a masterpiece in the span of a month, and you can't rush it. You're not allowed to rush it. You have to spend the entire month. You have to spend every single day working on it, whether it's 5 minutes or 5 hours in a day. You just add something new to it. You keep adding. You keep building on it. Until you drain yourself so thoroughly of ideas that by the end of the month you have what has to be a masterpiece, because you can literally not do a single thing to it. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. I'm still considering it. I haven't officially made it a thing. But the more I talk about it, the more I like it. I have to constantly draw upside down because I can't have my hand hanging off the edge of the paper. So that's one thing that drives me nuts about drawing in sketchbooks when they're lifted up. It's just impossible to draw comfortably. So I apologize for having to flip this drawing around constantly, but it's the only way I can comfortably do this. And this is just the initial inking. I still have the secondary inking to do to make everything kind of come together nicely, look more professional. You know, I have to say, you know, at the beginning of the stream, I was really tired, and my fever was kind of giving me a backache. But I must say that at this point in the stream, I feel like I feel pretty good. You guys have helped me feel better. It's amazing how steady your hands are when you ink. The lines look flawless. Well, thank you. It's been a lot of practice. It's been a lot of practice. Truly, it has been. Anytime I ink something, and then my wife tries to ink it, because we did drawings of each other that I've showed a few times, but she's kind of asked me the same thing, like, how is it? How do you get your lines so clean? And there's no magic to it. It is just, I've been doing this, I've been inking for so long that for me, it's not even a thought process at this point. But yeah, getting super clean inked lines is something that just, there is no easy way to do it. It takes time and tons of practice. And it takes just the most subtle micro muscle control that you can probably develop in your hands. Just, yeah. I think one of the hardest things to get over when you start inking is kind of like the inking fear. And what you end up doing is stiffening your hand, and you get these kind of jerky kinks in where you're trying to draw a line, and then your hand jumps, and you don't know why it does that, but it happens or your wrist. Sometimes your wrist will like bounce a little bit, and it'll cause your hand to twitch. And that's hard to get past. That's really hard to get past because you have to almost not even hold the pen. You have to like let the pen almost just float in your hand. It just takes practice. And then also it takes practice to stop a line and then start it again. That's something that can be a bit of a difficult thing to do. Especially if you're not using a very good pen. The Sakura pens are really great for that, because you can almost flawlessly start a line in the middle of another line. See, this curve is really hard because I don't have any place to set my hand. I appreciate you noticing my inking skills, because a lot of people don't really consider the level of difficulty that inking actually is when it comes to creating nice steady lines. You know you've mastered inking when you can do female legs, though. If you can ink a female's leg, You've mastered lines. Because there's nothing harder than getting smooth, clean, inked legs. It's just, oh goodness, it's so painful sometimes. I cannot even begin to say how many times I've messed up a drawing because I couldn't get the legs nice and smooth. Let me see. Did I miss anything else in the chats? I keep, you guys say something, you ask something, and I just go on rambling. I hope that you like the sound of my voice, because otherwise this is going to be hard to watch. Sorry girls, we'll have to leave early today. Have a boat to catch. Oh, interesting, a boat. You take care. Oh, let's see. Yeah, you have a fun boat ride. Oh, you rip your sketchbook pages out and tape them back in? I can't do that. Yeah, I can't do that. Bye, guys. Glad to see you tomorrow. Feel better. Thank you, Christine. Later, thanks for joining. Oh, you're responding. I'll master all female legs. Yeah. Yeah, I like your sense of humor. Oh, I appreciate the difficulty of inking. I've tried and failed and don't have the patience. Yeah, patience is just probably the most important quality of an artist. You can always tell the patient artist from the impatient artist. The more patient an artist is, the more realistic they tend to be with their work. And you can usually, if you look closely at artists' work, you might even be able to see parts in their work where they lost their patience. I know when I look at my work, I can easily pinpoint the parts of it where I lost patience. And I always regret it. Sometimes I tell myself, okay, I'm not gonna rush, and then like the very next second, I'm sitting there rushing, and I'm like, oh, gosh darn it, I told myself I wasn't gonna do this. Because sometimes I just can't help it. Sometimes I just can't stop myself from rushing, and I don't know why I do it. I don't know what I get no benefit from rushing. In fact, I get the complete opposite of what would be considered a benefit. Who else struggles with patience and rushing in their artwork? I can't imagine there's a single one of you that doesn't struggle with it a little bit. Do I have a tutorial on hand and fingers? Yes, I do. You can look up a video. Wait, was it? I think it was hands. I'm pretty sure it was hands. I don't know. I know that I did a live stream where I just drew a bunch of hands. Or was it just faces? Goodness, I can't remember. Oh, you know what? I know for sure I know 100% for sure that I have a tutorial where I talk about hands, and it's the How to Draw Anime series. It's a 3-part series. I take you through how I draw stuff like this, but you can take stuff like this and make it more realistic. It's very easy. If you can draw stuff like this, you can take it a step further and go more realistic. But I do have a tutorial, and I talk about hands. But I'm pretty certain that I did a live stream where I did like drawings of hands. I had to have. But I break down, what I do is I break down kind of the anatomy of hands, but with the purpose of drawing. So I don't look at it as hands. I always think of this as being a shovel, and then I talk about how the knuckles here match the curve of the knuckles here, and then the fingertips, and the knuckle here fans out for the thumb. See how that curve like that? So that's how I think of hands, and that's how I build my hands. But I always start with this shovel piece of the hand, and then if you can think of that in 3D and move it around and flex it like that, that's kind of the basis of the tutorial. I'm almost certain I talked about that. I had to have. Oh, okay, Mandy, yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's just best to walk away if you feel yourself rushing a little bit. Oh, did Steve come in? I missed him. Hello, Steve. I always struggle with patience, never sketching the same thing twice. If it's not working out, I just give up and start something else. Well, Coffee Cat, your work is so good. Whatever you're doing, it works. So do whatever works for you, because it looks great. Alright, I think that's all the detail. I'm not missing anything. Yep, so after these few circles here, I can erase my graphite, and I can do some of the finer inking and make this character start to stand off the page a little bit better, similar to our chest here. Let me zoom out a tad so you can see the full composition. So there's the piece. Let's see. Yes, you did. I remember it very distinctly. You gave a whole new view on how to draw hands. Same with how you draw faces. Yes, I see. I knew I did it. So if you're looking for that tutorial, probably just search my videos for the word hands and how to, maybe, or tutorial. I know it's a live stream though, and I did it digitally if I'm not mistaken. Alright, let's clean this drawing up here. What time is it? Oh, okay, I'm doing good on time. I just don't want to work all the way up until my wife gets here, because, you know, I have to go to Polish class. I don't want to overwork myself. I'm going to go through my vocabulary as well a bit before I have to leave. You know, I was a little worried that she wouldn't be as attractive with a peg leg, but I think she still looks good even with a peg leg. I had at first I just drew her leg normal, and I was going to give Nugget an eye patch, but I was like, how do you give a snail or how do you give a slug an eye patch? And I was thinking about it for a few minutes. I was like, you would just cover his eye, so it wouldn't really be an eye patch. It would just be one blank eye. And I was like, well, I can't add that pirate-ness to the drawing. I didn't have the sword at first either. I was uncertain as to whether or not I was going to put a cutlass in her hand. And then I thought, maybe I could get away with doing a peg leg. I think that'd be kind of cool. And so I went for it, and actually I like it a lot, actually. So I was just kind of making up random stuff in the midst of this drawing here, but the peg leg actually, I think it came out nicely. I like the peg leg. Did I miss anything else? Oh, was it the faces and the hands at the same time? How's Polish class going? It's picking up pace a little bit. We're starting to add some more verbs into our vocabulary. I made some flashcards yesterday so that I could, practice my vocab, but it gets really complicated so fast. That's the problem, because every single verb conjugates differently based on what it is taking on the verb. So if you are taking on the verb, it conjugates differently than if I am taking on the verb. So for me to know is just wiem, but for you to know is wiesz. And if he is to know, it's wie. And if we are to know, it's wiemy. And if they, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's just, and that's what happens with every single verb, and not every verb is the same, so they all conjugate to weird things sometimes. And of course there's no roundabout way to remember this stuff. It's just you just have to remember it. And so anytime you learn a new verb, you have to learn 7 different words. So just one verb is 7 new elements of your vocabulary. So if you we just went over I think somewhere around like 15 or 20 verbs in our last class. So 15 times 7, it's a lot of words. So it's what it is, But it's still going well. It's still going well. Thanks. My hands keep looking like carrots. Yeah. Nobody wants carrot hands. Okay, Elise, you take care. Yeah, nouns change and adjectives change. Adjectives change they conjugate differently based on the gender of the object. And every object has a gender. Like it's either male, or it's either masculine, feminine, or neutral. So pen is długopis. which, if I'm not mistaken, is masculine. I could be mistaken. But, so in order to say a small pen, I would have to say mawe dwugopis. But if it was a feminine, I'd have to say mawa, and if it was neutral, I'd have to say mawe. So I have to know a mug is Quebec, and I think that's neutral. See, I don't even know the gender of a mug, so if I was to describe it as, I don't know how I describe this mug. I don't know enough adjectives to describe it. I don't know the adjective for clear. But yeah, so that's about how it's going for me and my Polish. Everybody's saying it sounds like another language. Yeah, well, it's not English, and then that's all that matters. All right, I'm trying to think of what I need to do here. I think I'm just going to do a base outline first to make her stand off the page a bit more. So I'm going to use this number 2 and add some weight to the outline. It's a pretty simple drawing, and it's kind of small, so I can't really do anything super fancy with the inking. But at the very least, I can add some weight to the lines to make her stand off the page a bit more. And then I'll just do some minor retouching in some areas to kind of create the sense of light, I guess. By the way, 15 by 7 is 105. Let's see. Like 30% English is French was ruled occupied by France for a while. Only 2 days left of Inktober, and like every fine liner I got to use is dry. Nice. Good luck with the studies. Step by step, it will be easier, maybe. Yeah. I'm just going to keep at it. Slowly build more and more vocabulary and try to say it, try to use the words a bit more, I guess, in my daily routine with my wife and stuff. I ask her questions, like I like to ask my wife questions for Polish, but she I don't know, she usually ends up asking me questions back. It doesn't work out very well. Every time we like work on my Polish, we both just get frustrated with one another, which is partly the reason why I'm taking a class. But the biggest reason is just because I need this structure. Since I'm paying for the class, it motivates me to, dedicate the time necessary to do the homework and, to study the words so that I don't go into class looking like an idiot. Of course, at this point, the people that are in the class right now, it would be really hard to look like the worst student. So just gonna do my best. And I'm gonna be living in Poland, so I'm gonna keep using the language. It's just, so many people speak English here that it's so easy for me to just go out and speak English. And it's super nerve-wracking to like try to speak Polish with people. It's very, it definitely opened up my eyes to a lot of things, because when I lived in America, a lot of people, they're not fans of immigrants that don't speak English, and a lot of people don't have sympathy for these people. They say, learn English or go back to your country or whatever. And I've met way too many Americans with that sentiment towards people. And, it's coming from people that only speak English. And having the roles switched for me was very eye-opening. And it just made me respect the people that emigrate to a new country and struggle to learn the language. And I just wanted to say that because I have so much respect. I have so much more respect for people that have gone through that hardship of moving to a new country to, whether it was to make a better life for themselves or for whatever reason. Gosh, it is hard. It is hard. And it for me, it's probably a little bit harder because of my social anxiety and my inability to even talk to people in America in English in public. But gosh, it's so much harder in a language you're trying to learn. I don't even want to open my mouth half the time. I feel like I've lived in Poland and the only thing I'm comfortable saying is hello. And I've said excuse me like 1,000 times. Like sometimes I'll just sit here and practice it, because to say excuse me in Polish is just one of those sounds that's really difficult for me to do. And it's przepraszam. And the psze at the beginning, przepraszam, oh my gosh, when I try to say that in public, it's just terrible. And I've been saying the word over and over again for like a year and a half. Przepraszam, przepraszam, przepraszam. And I still can't do it in public. I once asked a colleague, how is it going with his fish tank? The whole studio went silent, and they all looked at me open mouthed. I don't get it. It turned out I pronounced it wrong and asked him how it was going with his pubic life. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I am perfectly fine if they don't speak well, but at least make the effort. If they haven't not made any effort, then that's when I have the issue. How much did I miss in the chat? I was rambling for some time, but yeah. I was just thinking. I was like, I feel awkward. I feel super awkward trying to speak a language that I clearly do not speak, that being Polish, to anybody that I ever talk to. And I realized that, I don't know why I'm just realizing this, but they must somewhat feel a little awkward speaking English to me. Like, am I saying it right? But gosh, the people that I talk to or have talked to in English, they seem so confident. They truly do. A lot of them just seem so confident to speak English. Almost arrogantly. I mean, not that they're being rude, but just some of them they just come off as so confident to speak English that I wish that I had that same amount of confidence to try and talk to them in Polish, because I struggle with it so much. I think if I wasn't so socially weird, then maybe at this point I'd probably speak Polish a lot better, because I would have been saying it in public a lot more. But I just am so bad at it. It's even hard in class when I know all these other people don't speak it. But it's still like a struggle of confidence with me. I hope that I can break through that wall of insecurity. Let's see. Yeah, when I ever came across anybody that made an effort to speak English, knowing that English wasn't their first language, I was always really I always did my best to come off as supportive and encouraging. So maybe I just need to suck it up and, assume that the people that I will try to speak Polish to will have that same sentiment towards me in regards to them wanting to be supportive and just appreciate that I am trying to learn Polish, because a lot of the people that I have spoken to, they always say that Polish is a hard language to learn, and that most of the time Poles don't even speak it correctly. I think I'm done. I kind of lost track of my train of thought, and I kind of finished this piece. Maybe I'll do a little bit more shadow inking down here and underneath the belt, but for the most part, I think that's going to be it for today. I really like the way this piece came out, and like I said, I'll have the line art. I'll take a picture of it and just make it black and white so you guys can see the line art, and download it and color it, trace it, whatever you want to do. I don't care what you do with it, with the exception of selling it as your own, obviously. But I really like this piece. This might be one of my favorites. Yeah, I like this one a lot. It's so much easier to write because you can pause without feeling stupid. Oh yeah, totally agree with that. I'm sure you'll find that when you try to speak Polish, they will appreciate it and will help you learn. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. It's just hard with my confidence, or my lack of confidence, I guess. The only thing that got past me, my speaking anxiety, was the fact it was the only thing that could help me be more independent and make my own steps forward. It worked well. Well, I will take your advice, Coffee Cat, and try to put myself out there a little bit more. At the very least, you'll be able to understand when folks are speaking Polish around you. Yeah, that's what I hope to get to, Steve. That, and also have some form of a conversation with my mother-in-law. I can write a whole book about my mistakes in Dutch. I speak it fluently now, but every once in a while, even my kids correct me. Looks amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Abigail and Anna. I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. I wish I was feeling a little bit better today, and maybe I would have, taken the time to color it. But regardless, I really like the way it came out. I love the look of it. Yeah, and I'm proud of this piece. I'm proud of this piece. I thought today was going to be a disaster because I felt so bad before the stream, but now I feel really good. Does my mother-in-law speak any English? No, 0, none. So it makes for awkward moments at the dinner table when my wife leaves the room and I can't say anything. So it kind of drives me crazy. That's one of my huge motivating factors for learning Polish is to just be able to communicate with my mother-in-law, because she's such a great lady, and she definitely raised my wife to be the most amazing woman in my life. So I hope that one day I can express those feelings to her, and she'll understand them. So that's kind of my goal. Anyways, that is going to be it for today's live stream. I want to thank you guys so much. I love hanging out with you guys. I do my best to find the words to express my gratitude for how awesome you guys are. But I feel like I fail every time. But anyways, make sure that you guys send me your Inktober pieces, and I will share them tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the last day of Inktober, so it's your last chance to send me some of your work. I've been really enjoying it this past month, and you guys have been doing a great job. Inktober is finally coming to a close, so it's all over tomorrow, and I look forward to it. But it's gonna be missed, doing this every day. But it's time for a rest, a little bit of a vacation. So I will see you all tomorrow for the final day of Inktober. You guys enjoy the rest of your day and take care. Peace.